Okay, so this video is a year in the making.
Illustrations by Pete.
The most popular video on the channel. It's the automatic drawing versus abstract doodling. That's the #1 video on the channel. People watch that still. It's over a year old, more than they watch anything else. It has the most views, it gets the most views every day, and I get the most comments on that video. And sometimes people are angry. They're like, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. It's okay. This is, everything I tell you is just my experience. That's all I'm doing. It's my experience on what I'm doing. Now, I know it says versus this, but it's this versus this. It's really, look at the thumbnails lately. It's bright, colorful. They have nothing to do with what I'm actually doing. It's just a play of words and play of words. It's a play on words. You don't play of words. That's not what English is. It's a play on words. It's not supposed to be literal, this versus this. You can either have one or the other. That's not what I'm saying here. Just relax a minute. Everybody gets excited. Everybody's getting all up in arms over stuff. Calm down. I'm just sharing with you what my experience with what I'm doing. Does this help me? Does this help me? It could be that they both help. We're going to find out here shortly. But it doesn't mean that everything is going to be even for everybody. That's not how life works. Some people have an experience like, oh, I started wearing blue sock on the left foot and a red sock on the right foot, and ever since then, my days have been wonderful. I got a raise at work and a promotion and everything's great. That doesn't mean that the socks actually help, but in your head, they may help. So you do it every day because it's going to help, and you're convinced that's what helps you. That's fine. I don't care what color socks you wear, and I don't care what else you do in art. Whatever you're doing, you think something helps, do it. I'm not arguing with you. I don't have a problem with that. I hope you don't have a problem with me not thinking that for me. I don't like to wear different color socks on my feet. I like to wear the same color socks. I don't discriminate against someone else who does wear different color socks on their feet. But, just don't jump all over me. Oh, you gotta wear that. They are helpful. If you just do it, it's helpful. I've been doing this for a little while, and I think I've been paying attention. I've been so many automatic drawings all the time, continuously, for over a year, and this I'm gonna share with you what I think happens here. Does it help? Does it not help? I'll share all that with you. Automatic doodling, does that help me in my artistic journey? Does that help me develop? But I'm gonna share with you how I think the two relate or don't relate, or how it affects me or how it doesn't. Don't get excited. Now I just want to say this. I don't know what I did. The last videos, I'm a moron. The camera, I just mess things up all the time. I used a different codec and then 4K 10-bit. It destroyed my computer. The whole thing was running so slow. Hours to render anything. I almost didn't get the video out. And there's a video that I didn't get out because I used a codec that my program doesn't use. I told you, I don't know what I'm doing. So it doesn't use that one. And so I couldn't run the entire video. I have to re-record it if I want to ever put it out. I don't know if that's going to happen because it was different. Anyway, all I'm saying is I don't know. Do you need to see? Are you really looking at the screen and say, oh, that looks like it's only 8-bit. Is that 1080p? I didn't see that freckle before, or I did see that freckle and now I don't. You don't know. You don't care. None of you care. This doesn't matter to you. As long as you get a video and you can basically, as long as it's clear and you can see me in the screen, I think we're okay. But anyway, I'm just complicating my own life. That's what I do. I try different settings and different things. Sometimes I look green. Sometimes I look purple. It's just weird settings. I'm just playing with stuff and, let me change the colors a little bit. And I really have no idea what I'm doing. That's okay. I'm having fun. You're having fun. We're all having fun. So I'm not doing that anymore. We're going to simplify our lives. 1080p. You're watching this on a phone anyway. What is it, like 46 dots? is what you're looking at. And I'm worried about, 1080p or should I do 4K? You don't care. So let's get over. We're going to do the automatic drawing. So here's what I'm doing. I'm not using ink. I'm using paint. So it's going to be watercolor. I'm going to do a very light wash automatic drawing in the first layer. The second layer, a little bit more concentrated watercolor. So it gives it some depth. Let's see if I can benefit from this. Let's see if I can pull something out of this. And then I'll do the abstract doodle with watercolor. And I'll talk about that. And let's see what I get out of that. Okay, let's automate. Alright, so I realized I started and then I forgot to hit record, so I stopped very quickly and then started again. This is the watery section anyway. This is going to get pretty watered out and you're not going to see any real detail here. Then later, in the other painting, I ended up forgetting to hit record in a certain spot and I didn't realize the time had run out and then didn't hit record in time, and so it's just a small section, just like a minute or two, but you'll see that. So before I start talking about this, keep in mind, this is my experience. Your experience may be completely different. It may be entirely different. So when I did the other video, when I did this video over a year ago, my main goal was just to say that automatic drawing is not the same thing as doodling, or what some people call intuitive drawing. That's a different word that I just learned not that long ago. Intuitive drawing and doodling are really the same thing. Automatic drawing is something completely different. You're not thinking about anything with automatic drawing. You're just not even paying attention to where the lines are on the page. But when you doodle, or when you do the intuitive drawing, however you want to word that, for me it's just an abstract drawing. When you do that, you're concentrating not so much on what you're doing to start with, but you end up focusing on different areas and giving them texture and developing them further on purpose. So there's active thought process happening, whereas the automatic drawing, there is no active thought process. You're just randomly putting down lines on a page. Anywhere that they fall, that's where they fall. And in the end, you really don't end up with anything. If you end up with something that looks like something, you did not do automatic drawing. You did doodling, or you did intuitive drawing. That's what that was. But the automatic drawing is just random movements on the page. That's what it is. It's automatic. You're not thinking. Now, I still continuously see videos of people who say, this is automatic drawing, and then they do a doodle. That's not what they're doing. They were told wrong. It's doodling, it's abstract drawing. It has nothing to do with automatic drawing. That's completely different. Now, I want you to understand that before I go any further, because that's really the whole purpose of this whole thing. It's not to say that one is better than the other, or that one is versus the other. It's not what I was doing. I was just saying that they're not the exact same thing. They are different. So, having said all that, I just want to say this. I have been doing the automatic drawing for a little over a year now, continuously. I mean, multiple times a week. Just anytime I could think of it, hey, let me just do this quick, and I just do that. Sometimes I time it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just go for a while, and then I stop and see what I'm with. But the idea, for me, it has done absolutely nothing. Nothing. It hasn't increased my creativity that I can even measure in any way. But people get dramatic with this sometimes. I've heard someone say, automatic drawing has saved my life. That's a real thing, and I can't tell if they're being dramatic or if they really believe that this automatic drawing, doing nothing with no skill, no intention, has somehow helped them. Maybe it has. I don't know. I'm not going to say it didn't. I don't know that person. I'm not going to say that. What I'm saying is, for me, it's done absolutely nothing. However, doodling, doing abstract drawings, that has done amazing things for me. Maybe when I did the automatic drawing and then turned it into an abstract drawing, that has done something for me, because I have to take all these mess of lines and try and make something with them that I think is pleasing to look at. Maybe that has helped me, but other than that, other than just starting, giving me a base to start from, this has done nothing. The automatic drawings that I've done versus the doodles or abstract or intuitive drawings where I have nothing in mind. I just start making shapes with texture and decide to fill in a certain area, make it a little bit darker, add some contrast, and maybe a little bit of whatever. Those have helped me tremendously in my creativity. So that's just me. I don't know where you are, but that brings about a very important thing that I really want you to think about. Okay, so you may disagree with all the things I've said as far as you can't relate to them. That for you, the automatic drawing thing is amazing. It works. Does all this stuff for you. But just hear me out, please. This is what I want to bring. This is the main focus of what I want to talk about right here. This is, when you start out as an artist, and you can apply this to anything else in life, but today we're talking about art because that's what we're doing here, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. So when you start out as an artist, you have that first experience, and for most of us, it's like a coloring book or just some crayons with construction paper, or maybe the bag that your mother brought home your government cheese in. By the way, powdered milk is disgusting and tastes like water mixed with chalk that was mixed by a dirty spoon. It doesn't matter. But anyway, you have whatever art supplies you have when you're growing up, whatever situation that you're in. That's what you have, and that's how you start your journey. Maybe your grandmother pocketed some crayons from the Chuck E. Cheese and gave them to you with the placemat that you ate on, is now covered in sauce and fruit punch. Whatever your story is, that's your personal story. So, as you progress, some kids keep coloring, and some just leave it behind as they get older. They're done with that. They move on to something different. They're not into that anymore. But that's okay. You might become interested. Maybe you keep coloring, and maybe you become interested because you see art online now, because that happens now. It didn't happen for me when I was younger. So, or in a book, and who reads anymore? I know. Or in maybe a cartoon. That's what old people call computer-generated graphic stories. Either way, something gets your attention, and you may start off using your pencil, and maybe you're not paying attention in class. Don't do that. I did that. Look at me. So, but maybe then you look to start painting with watercolor or acrylic or drawing with a pen, and then you find other people who also like to do those activities. Maybe a family member or a friend or a stranger on the subway. Don't do that. They encourage you to do something, and you start to develop more interest. Then you find someone whose art you decide you would like to imitate. And you're like, oh man, I wish I could draw like that. I wish I could create like that. I would draw everything just like that. Then you start to try to imitate the artist. You immediately fail. But you keep at it. You try harder, and you try harder, until one day you can create something that you're proud of. But you tell everyone else you're not proud of it, so you don't have to hear their ridicule and rejection that, this thing you made that they may not like, but so you tell them you don't like it, but you really, inside, you're proud that you made that thing. And then, the more you create, the more you develop this, creation process. You start at point A, and you have this method that you go until you're done. And that's just something you develop. But, here's the thing. Some people start with a pencil, and then they put the pen, and then they erase the pencil, and then they put some watercolor. Some people use pen straight on paper. Some people start with monochromatic underpaintings, and they glaze over. Whatever your process is, but you become comfortable with it. And sometimes, after doing it for so long, way too long, it becomes less exciting. It's not like when you received those stolen crayons from your grandmother. It's now monotonous. It's just different now. You're getting tired of it. You feel like you're stuck in a rut. And then out of nowhere, someone gives you different advice. A different starting point than you've ever tried before. And it's probably just because it's different and new and exciting, but it inspires you all over again. And you start creating. It feels like a breath of fresh air in your process. Then you enter what's known as the cage stage. Let me explain what that is. It's a state where you feel that you have discovered something amazing and it's opened up the world to you and you want to share it with everyone. So you pace back and forth like an animal in its cage, just waiting to pounce on someone, that new person, to say you need to do this too. And you get all excited about it. So now, even though the people come to you and they're the brand new artists and they've never done anything, no, this is the way. Do it this way. It's better. It's great. You should do it like this. And see, what you don't realize is that person will now develop a process that they become comfortable with. And this is now going to become their process that becomes monotonous, that they're going to have to change later. And they may change to doing it the first way you did it, and that may be their inspiration because it's different now and exciting again. Creating is exciting. It's fulfilling. It's like a dopamine hit to the nucleus accumbens and prefrontal cortex. You can take that to the bank. But when that experience gets too normal and too casual, sometimes it loses its kick. So you feel like you hit a wall and you have less motivation until something new comes along and reinvigorates your passion that you've had. And then we always cry about it. Why can't I figure out my style? How do I find my style? I need something that sets me apart. But if you do find a style, something that becomes the norm for you, sometimes that becomes dull and uninspiring and you don't feel like creating anymore. So then you try a different style, you change your process, you find something new or someone new that does something different that inspires you. Now, I've said all of this whole thing, to say this simple thing here. Don't worry about what style you think you have or don't have as you grow. Even if you find a style that someone else is doing, it will be different enough if you're doing it. Because when you create, you take all of those experiences, everything I just spoke about, and you combine it into something that you're doing. It's when you create that piece, all your experience goes into it. From all your grandmother's stolen crayons, the lynched lady who told you that your art reminds her of a three-legged dog that they once had for some reason, your classmate who said you suck and you should give up now and join their folk punk band, or the guidance counselor who told you that there is no future in art because their own existence is sadder than they can even process. Or maybe your mom who encouraged you and put your crappy drawing of a crooked bird and a one-eared elephant up on her fridge and she told you she loved it. Or it could be that jackrabbit YouTuber who told you that your pencils have to be 3 inches long and be sharpened by the hair of a mushroom fairy on a Friday under a full moon. All of that goes into your drawing. It goes into your art, which puts your fingerprint on it. It makes you more unique than any snowflake could ever dream to be. What you do is uniquely you, and that should excite you. That should give you inspiration, because even if you're doing this new thing that you just heard all of a sudden from this person, it's going to have your experience on it, your unique fingerprint on it. So that's it. I just want you to know that. So when people say, hey, automatic drawing has just saved my life, that could be exactly what they're talking about. They were doing things, they gave up, they put it aside, everything was garbage now, but then they found something that excited them again. I'll tell you, for me, it was doing the doodle thing. I was doing all sorts of stuff. I was doing a lot of wildlife stuff, and it was great. It was fun. I loved accomplishing that. There was so much stress behind it. I can't even explain it. There was just so much stress. Like that doesn't look like the ear of a dog. That looks like a pig ear that I put on a dog. It doesn't look right. The proportions are weird, whatever. When I let go and I started doing the doodle thing and just some abstract drawing, my mind just went crazy. It opened up. I got excited again for art. It's what made me start this channel again after all these years of wanting to start a channel again and do that. Since 2015, I wanted to start a channel. I just didn't. I was fearful, and then it was monotonous and doing the art perfect for every video, and I let go. I started doing the doodle and abstract thing, and it reinvigorated me. So for me, that's what changed my life. But for someone else, it could be that automatic drawing. So when I put up these videos, it says this versus this. It's not this versus this. It's just, that's so you click on it. That's all that is. It's clickbait, admittedly so. But really, it's just to tell you my experience with those things, not to tell you what yours should be. That's about it. You can thumbs up the video if you like pictures of puppies in a grass meadow chasing butterflies. But I'm going to go.